Another example of big business making a move before anyone can tell them they have to. Our insiders are following the money on this phenomenon. Justin Wilson is with the Center for Consumer Freedom, which is supported in part by food companies we want to mention. And Susan Linn is the author of Consuming Kids and the co-founder of the Campaign for Commercial-Free Childhood. Susan, what's wrong with businesses trying to sell their products to consumers? I mean, it seems fair to me. They're marketing a product. They're not forcing anyone to buy it.
We're not talking about any consumer. We're talking about children, and children are so much more vulnerable to advertising than adults. Until the age of 8, children don't understand persuasive intent. They don't even understand the fundamental basis of advertising. When they're a little older, they're all held sway to their hormones. The frontal cortex, which is where judgment sits, doesn't develop until our 20s. It's unfair to market to children.
Justin, what do you think?
You know, I was a waiter for a while, and there was never a single time when I held a gun to a parent's head and forced them to buy something for their kids. Parental responsibility and personal responsibility will rule the day when it comes to talking about obesity. You know, for the same reason that no one blames General Motors for advertising cars that go fast when people speed, no one should be blaming food companies. Obesity is far more complicated than, a cartoon character that's promoting something that it isn't perhaps the most, the best nutrition. It's a societal change. Kids are not getting the exercise they need. We don't have PE classes. They're playing video games instead of going outside and roughhousing.
Are you saying that corporations have no responsibility at all? Are you saying that corporations can do anything they want? It's absolutely a societal issue.
Right, but
of course it is. We need to address it as a society.
Response to these kinds of things, by focusing in on corporations, by blaming what seems to be the easy target, it does us an injustice. It allows people to pat themselves on the back and say that they've solved the problem.
Susan, go ahead.
I find it so hard to think of an industry that's spending $17 billion annually marketing to children as an easy target. They have all the money. As somebody who's been trying to advocate for children in the marketplace, and in a nonprofit organization that is struggling for funding to be up against a $17 billion industry, I think that calling them an easy target is absolutely just laughable.
Well, first of all, what you're ignoring is that the industry has lots and lots of regulations when it comes to what it advertises and how it advertises. And over again, the board that it's appointed has said, maybe that's not a best ad to be doing. More so, whether it's M&M's today or all the other food companies in the past, these companies have taken great strides to make sure that their products are responsible. And at the same time, we've had food marketing for so long. Howdy Doody and Twinkies, Woody Woodpecker and Fred Flintstone. This is not some kind of new phenomenon, and these are not evil corporations.
This is a phenomenon that has escalated exponentially over the past 25 years. In 1983, companies were spending $100 million marketing to children annually, and now they're spending just about $17 billion. That's a huge increase. And they're doing it not just in commercials, but on the internet, marketing in schools, marketing on iPods, marketing in video games, product placement.
What Mars suggested today,
absolutely endless.
What Mars suggested today is that they're going to cut all marketing, including all these new media types. And so many food companies have pledged to do the same thing. And at the same time, these cartoon characters that Susan gets all up in arms about, they're being used to promote veggies and carrot sticks and so on and so forth.
They're also being used to promote fruit snacks and cookies and candies and ice cream and all of that as well. And not only that,
Susan, I hate to break it to you, sometimes kids should be able to have food that tastes good. In the end here, that's where parental responsibility is key, and you removed parents from this equation. I have a simple solution to parents.
I absolutely have not removed parents from this equation. The marketing industry purposely bypasses parents. They work with child psychologists and anthropologists to target children the ways that they're most vulnerable and to encourage children to nag their parents. And you have to remember that food isn't the only product marketed to kids. Parents are coping not just with food marketing, but with media marketing and with toy marketing and with gadget marketing, and it's just endless for them. Of course, parents have responsibility. What about corporate responsibility? Why in the world do we have
Today's
this
the
$17
best
billion
example of corporate responsibility.
industry
Can you give
undermining
these companies
parents?
some credit? You know, you lay into companies over and over again, and you never give them credit for making the right moves. That's why almost all the cereals on the market today are, are made of whole grains
and contain huge amounts of
Justin,
sugar.
Susan, I'm afraid that has to be the last word. We're out of time, but thanks to both of you for joining us. An interesting debate. When we return, On the Money. Channeling the future. Media moguls are coming and going, but can any network compete with 100 million YouTube hits a day? Sexpresso in Seattle. Hot and Steamy describes more than just coffee. We'll see what the bikini-clad baristas are selling in one city.
A cool head. And a new copier. $2,500.
Dinosaur.
Dedication.
And a coffee maker. $69.
A sense of humor.
And a mop. $17. Having what it takes to run a business? Priceless. To see what the MasterCard business card can do for your business, visit our website.
Finally